Welcome. I am Dr. Katrina Kreider. I'm the chiropractor and owner here at A Touch of Health. And we're getting ready for our big self-love event at the end of the month. And today I am here with the fabulous Jessica Wall, who is a BeautyCounter consultant. And Jessica and I have known each other a little over 5 years, which when you say it like that is kind of like, holy crap.
Yeah.
And we met over a kid's water bottle.
It's true. Yep.
So Jessica, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Jessica. I have 2.5 boys. I'm cooking one for May here, and I have a 5.5-year-old and a 20-month-old, and live in Decatur. And actually, the water bottle story is quite funny. It's sort of how I came to BeautyCounter in a way. So it's funny that you brought that up.
Yeah. Well, why don't you tell me about the water bottle and how it led you to BeautyCounter?
So after I had my first son, I did not end up going back to work, and I was home with him for 2.5 glorious years, and started to look for something that, you know, I could do in addition to being a mom as well. And one of the things that a friend and I had sort of been, I guess, known for was the fact that we were resources within our mom group. So we had done the research on the water bottles and the handmade toys and all of these different things that were sort of, you know, maybe off the beaten path, a little bit against the grain, but looked to be safer choices for our kids. And we had friends coming to us all the time, and, you know, it was kind of the joke, you guys should start a store. So we did. And it was called Wrapped Up, and it was online. That's actually how Katrina and I met at an event, and adorable Avery. And yeah, and so it was just this place where people who may not have the time to do all of the research, but really did want that safer option, they could go and purchase those ideal options. And in a way, BeautyCounter is the same thing. For me, having my own company, I touched every single piece of it, from the wholesale to the website building to the taking the pictures and all of that. And when my business partner moved, it was too much for one person. I was having my second baby, and it was just, it was too much to do that. So I closed that company. And the best thing was, it kind of became mainstream. I remember walking through Kroger one day, and I saw that Pura Kiki stainless steel cup on the shelves of Kroger. This is what I've always wanted. You know, I've always wanted it to be easier for those better choices to be available, you know, to grandma who wants to purchase for her grandchild, or to mom who works and doesn't have the time to research that, or and just like, why are there not better choices readily available? And so when I saw that, took it as a sign. We closed that business, and I ended up trying BeautyCounter that same month for the first time. I had wanted to try it for a couple of years, but didn't really know how. And my girlfriend had to get together. I went and tried it, and I realized it was sort of the same scenario where everything on the shelf was safe. And it, you know, they're free of 1,800 now. We actually just upped our game from 1,500 to 1,800 ingredients we'll never use in our products. So safer choices without having to personally spend all the time doing all the research.
I love it. And it keeps within the mission of why you started Wrapped Up. Like, because I considered Wrapped Up like a non-toxic source of baby products that I could count on to just, you know, go on and buy. And BeautyCounter does that, except they do it with makeup and skincare.
And personal care products as well. Everything from shampoo to body wash, all the way through, you know, your eye creams and concealer and lipstick. Yep.
So what is your favorite part of being a BeautyCounter consultant? Like, what do you love the most?
Gosh, that's there's so many things really.
Give me
It
your
was a
top
wonderful
three
way for
favorite
me
things.
to, this is kind of going deep, but kind of not just be a mom, like kind of get back to that woman, person part of me. It sort of forced me to take some time for myself when I started using the products. I remember that being one of the things is, you know, I actually joined when my second was a month old. And I remember handing my husband the baby and saying, I'm going to go wash my face now. You know, like
I love
something
that.
I really didn't do with my first, but kind of, so I think part of it is putting myself back into the equation, and having that opportunity to connect with other women, to do these events like the self-love event and meet so many incredible women, to just have that sense of community. Of course, the education piece, that has always been, like I said, as a resource to friends, that's sort of always been something that I've been very passionate about, and supporting a women-owned company, getting the discount on products I already love. I mean, it's,
Yes.
you know, something as simple as that to really this very deep, passionate drive to make the world a better place. Because, you know, BeautyCounter's mission is to get safer products into the hands of everyone. And not, it doesn't say get BeautyCounter products into the hands of everyone, get safer products in general, because what we're actually out here doing is advocating and educating. Yes, we have high performing products that can serve as solutions and they're agents for change, but it's really about, did you know that no major law has been passed since, you know, 1938, 80 years, 81 years? You know, did you know that other countries, Canada bans 600, European Union bans, you know, 1,400 potentially harmful ingredients? Did you know that the US only bans 30 ingredients, and formaldehyde's not even on that list? You know,
30?
it's like these things that we don't know until you know. And so I take it on as my job to educate those people. And then I'm so excited and proud to be part of a company that goes above that 1,400 mark that the European Union does, and actually bans, like I said, 1,800 now. So, but it's things we don't know until we know them. And
So I'm
just like
actually
sharing my favorite recipe, or, you know, how do you transition from the family bed to into the next room, you know, for your child? Like just like you share that with your friends, and I share this the same way.
I'm glad that you brought up the you know, the laws. I had no idea that we only banned 30. That is appalling, because when I was in chiropractic school, I became very aware of the things that I started to put in my body. So I started to do my own research, and makeup was on my radar. Makeup and skincare was on my radar about 15 years ago, and I switched all of my makeup to non-toxic stuff, but I had to like find it. And it was these small, I found like some small women-owned businesses. Like this one lady had one who, she did it because her daughter started to wear makeup and she was horrified of what was in it. So I know that isn't BeautyCounter doing something to help change the laws? Because haven't you been down to like the Georgia House and stuff like that? Tell me a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So that has from the beginning been our mission, is really, because the same thing, the CEO, Greg Renfrew, who's a woman, Gregg, she found the same thing. It was about her and her daughter, and she wanted to go and have this experience, you know, with her daughter, to do makeup and all of that, and she couldn't find anything that was safe. And so as she dug deeper and deeper and deeper, she saw that it was this sort of genuinely or generally widely accepted thing, that there were these toxic products we were putting on our bodies every single day. Our largest organ, our skin, we were slathering our bodies in hormone disruptors and carcinogens, and, you know, and so she realized that it was going to take something at the legislative level change there. And yeah, so I met with John Lewis's office in the spring of last year. Greg, actually, our female CEO, she was invited to speak in front of Congress just at the end of last year. And, you know, it was such an eye-opening experience, I think, for a lot of people who saw that. You know, they're asking, you know, are these products in baby shampoo, or are these ingredients in baby shampoo, general baby shampoo, obviously not BeautyCounters, you know, these harmful products? And the answer was yes. And okay, so can the FDA recall it if they see that there's some sort of toxic chemical in a baby shampoo? Well, no, not at this point. There's no way for the FDA to recall any product that they find in the personal care industry. You know, in the food industry, thankfully, and in the pharmaceutical industry, that can happen. But the personal care industry has been missed. So a lot of what we're doing, there's actually the incentive right now for consultants like myself to perform highly this spring, or this winter going into the spring, is actually a trip to DC to lobby on behalf of our state. So the top 2 representatives in the state are able to go and meet with the lawmakers there as change makers, and, you know, plead for them to vote on behalf of safer laws for everyone. Because we want people to be able to go into CVS and pick something off the shelf, and that be safe too, not just BeautyCounter products.
Well, because that's how you vote too, you know, just like we know with food buying, right? We vote with our dollars. So if there are no options at Target or CVS, you can't, it's not even like you're voting, because there is no, this product is safe and this one isn't. So there's no way to count that. I love that they're doing that.
Yeah, it was absolutely a huge factor for me, you know. Like I said, getting my independence as a woman was one thing, making some side hustle, joining the side gig, you know, community as well, that economy, but real in the education, but really, like, when you become a mom, like you said, you know, when you become a mom, there's just this thing inside that, you know, you've got to leave the world a better place for your kids than you experienced, than it was when you got here. It's this, like, innate, I think, really physiological reaction when you have children.
Absolutely. I feel like it gets turned on when you have your first baby. It's just this innate kind of need that you have.
Absolutely.
So, tell me about some success stories that you've had with, you know, just women loving different products, or like how products have changed some of the people that you that have purchased them.
Sure. So I think, you know, I ended up, like I said, starting this business when my second child was 1 month old. What else did I have going on, right? But the reason is because I had been using them for 6 months. I had told everyone, you know, somebody said, oh, your skin looks great, or, oh, what do you use for this? You know, I would tell them, and I'd say, you've got to call my friend Adina, right? And she would say, you know, Jess, I appreciate all the referrals. You could be doing this. I was like, no, not for me. I've got a baby coming. I don't have time, you know, all that. And it just sort of, you know, progressed into this thing. But it was also, people would say, how do you look like you've slept? Right? Like, you have a newborn. Once he was here, you have a newborn. How do you look like you've slept? And I would kind of half joke, but it was the truth, you know, oh, BeautyCounter, you know, it's this concealer. I love it. Right. And it was actually that plus, you know, the, hey babe, I'm going to take 5 minutes to wash my face. The one thing that I might do that day for myself. Right? I mean, you have a baby attached to you. I had a 4-year-old at the time too, you know, so I was doing a lot of things for a lot of people, but very few of those things were just for me. But washing my face was one. And so, I mean, I think that that's not only, and my skin looked great, you know, but I think not only is that a physical change, but it was also a mental change
Oh,
inside for me,
yeah.
that self-care piece.
It's a mindset shift, just kind of
Totally.
allowing you to just recognize that this is important, even if I'm just going to give myself those 5 minutes, right?
Exactly. And it's like your movement. You talk about movement. You don't have to move for an hour. Just go and move for 10 minutes, you know, like
Yes.
it's the same thing. It really made a difference in my well-being, I think. And
simple act too, right? The act of like
yeah.
washing our face and just putting some products on. And I think we
Yeah.
all can relate to, like, you know, the end of the day, kind of like taking everything off and putting, you know, some nice oil and lotion on, and like just like taking that big sigh when you're done, like,
Yes.
because it
Total
just,
reset.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And also, you know, I did a story post the other day on my Countercurrent Mama on Instagram, and it was, you know, my before picture, right? It was like tired mom, right? And my second one was once I had done the 5-minute face false and 5, one of my favorites. I did tired mom ready to face the day. Because there really is like that mind shift when you take just the 5 minutes or less. Half the time it's at stoplights, you know, or like in the line after dropping off at school, like, you know, just that 5 minutes to say, okay, breathe in, you know, consider yourself, and then go and do whatever it is that you need to do. There's also another instance where a friend of mine, her daughter had eczema. I mean, severe eczema. And while a lot of the times that is gut related, and I think it was some of that as well, she ate, you know, very well. They had taken all of the triggers out of her diet. She was a natural, holistic mama who really struggled mentally, internally, because she tried every cream on the market, whether it be prescription, like type steroids, to, you know, anything from CVS to organic to, you know, all of these things, and nothing was helping. And they really discovered that her particular eczema, her daughters, they had to wet wrap her limbs at night. I mean, for years. Like, it was really, it impacted their lives. And what she discovered is that it was an environmental toxin overload. So the soaps, the detergents, all of these different things that were affecting her skin, and many of them were supposed to be safe. You know, many of them were sort of touted as, you know, natural and green and all these things, because she had already made a lot of those shifts. But it wasn't until she really dove in, got into the EWG, which I'm sure most of you know, your listeners are familiar with, to see like what is actually in these safe products that I'm using. And it was the BeautyCounter baby wash and cleansing balm that ended up changing her daughter's experience of life completely. I mean, completely. She uses a body butter on her, and if she has a flare up of any sort, which are like majorly reduced, like very, very minor now, she'll use the cleansing balm as sort of like an intensive treatment. But it has changed their experience of life. And I mean, she's a forever believer now, you know. It's
and what it's just changed like her daughter's life, because
completely.
If you've never had eczema, I don't know, or I mean, honestly, if you've had any skin irritation or skin dryness or like a rash, I think you can empathize with someone who has eczema in that it can be pretty painful and discomforting, especially on a child.
Yeah. I mean, it just broke my heart hearing about wet wrapping. I mean, like having a young child is hard enough, but having something where you have to wet wrap their limbs, it just, and
then hope that they keep it on, right?
I know, just the logistics of it. I know. It's like, yeah. So, I mean, you know, she now takes we have a BeautyCounter hand soap too, free from all of the things. And so she now actually takes that to school with her. To use there. I mean, it's really, they've seen such improvement that it's been life-changing for them. And that cleansing balm, I put that on everything. So
the cleansing balm.
Yes.
Yeah. That is actually my favorite product because I am too lazy to actually wash my face with water.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just how I am. I get home at the end of the
get
night
it.
and I just don't want to get everything wet. And so I love the cleansing balm. I love that you can wipe it off with some water. I love that you can keep it on as like a mask. Like that is my favorite product.
Yeah.
What is your favorite product?
Such a loaded question.
They have a couple different lines, so I'm going to give you the option to choose like a favorite skincare, a favorite makeup, a favorite body care. You could probably even do top 3.
Okay.
Tell me your favorites.
Okay. I love the cleansing balm for the same reason. I mean, there's still some nights like, you know, that I wash my face with a baby wipe. I mean, there are those days where it's like,
Mom life.
I just can't even. And this is like that, using the cleansing balm's that much more involved than a baby wipe. And so for me as a busy mom, and, you know, especially during first trimester when I was like, and I wasn't feeling good, I wasn't going to do a 5-step routine. You know, I love when I do that. It feels like a spa day. But for the cleansing balm, you know, to be able to wash my face on the couch is what I always say, because you literally can put it on, get a wet washcloth, and then circular motion it off, put it back on, and it takes, I'm a cost per use gal. I might spend like
tiny
$100 on a pair of jeans.
Goes a long way.
What's that?
A teeny tiny amount of the cleansing balm goes a long way.
I literally like dig my tiny pinky nail in there, and it goes over your whole face and neck. And like I might spend $100 on a pair of jeans, but I'm going to wear them 4 days a week. You know, it's like I'm a cost per use gal. So that's another thing I love about BeautyCounter. So I would say if I had to pick, and that could be that, the thing is that could be skincare or body care, because you can put it on your elbows, your dry heels. I'm telling you myself now, but like, you know, in the winter time, you've got these dry patches of skin, you can totally put it on there. If I were just to pick a skincare thing, it would probably be the Counter Time cleansing oil. It has kind of the same idea that you put it on dry, you do rinse it off, but it's so nice and luxe. It has the Counter Time line has what's called Retinatural in it, so it's our response and answer to retinol.
Yeah.
Because retinol has been touted by dermatologists for years and as the anti-aging thing. And while it's very effective at what it does, we've also seen some links to not so great things for our body, hormone and reproductive type things, and also just like skin sensitivity to the sun, which we know we don't want to do any of that. So it's Retinatural. It has all of the amazing effects of retinol, but none of the bad side effects. So it's really, it's been 3 years in the making. So that entire line, but especially that cleansing oil, I love it. It's like almost a moisturizer in itself. The body product, I actually love the Counterman energizing body wash. So, you know, I use it as a woman. It's this like, it's just this fragrant, but not gross synthetic things. Yeah.
Yeah. Not like super musky, like all the men's
it's energizing. Yeah.
Men's products on the market are really strong. If you
too much so. Yeah, no, this is a really nice, woodsy, but not too much, the whole line. And then this one in particular is, you know, charcoal, and it's really peppermint almost. It's really, really nice. Yeah. So I love that, for myself, especially, after a workout or something like that. It's really nice. And then makeup.
Yeah. Don't forget makeup. It's like my favorite.
Don't forget makeup. So I do love my concealer pen. It's kind of one of those things that even if you just do that, you feel a little bit more rested, a little bit more put together. I kind of joke that it's my faux sleep. So I love that. if I have to choose one, I guess I'll stick with that. I'm also loving the brow gel, though.
Okay.
I gotta say.
I was going to say, the one product I actually didn't know that I needed it
Yes.
so badly. I bought it the last
Yeah.
time I ordered.
Yeah.
And I look at these things. I love the brow gel. Like,
I do too.
I know I have like pretty thick brows, and
Yeah.
so I just didn't see a need for it. And
Yeah.
honestly, it just shapes them so
It
nicely
does.
and defines.
It like frames the face. It really does.
Absolutely does.
Yeah.
And I was not convinced. I was like, I don't need that. I don't need brow gel. Now I'm like, how did I was such a snob. I do need the
Same.
brow gel.
Same. I actually didn't have it the other day, and I was like, man, like I'm just not quite all the way where I wanted to be for this, whatever it was I was doing that day.
It's not even about mascara. It's
No,
about
it's
about
true.
the brows.
Absolutely about the brows. All about the brows.
I love it. So, before we end, I would like to ask you, what is your favorite part of the self-love event?
Being around the other women, being around the other like-minded women. I always learn something. Always. I've done it, I've done your events both as a vendor and also as a participant. And I really can't even choose between those two things because it's so fun, whether you're here for either one. And it's just being around the amazing community that you've built. There's just so many women that have so much to share and so much light and like love to give. And it's so fun to kind of sponge all that up and go forth into the day. I always have a good day after this event, for sure.
I love it. I am so excited that we're having another one. February 29th, Saturday, February 29th, you will be able to catch Jessica and all our other fabulous vendors. Thank you so much for coming on with us today and telling us more about BeautyCounter. We really enjoyed learning about you.
Yay, thanks for having me. I'll see y'all then.
Okay, perfect. We'll see everybody on the 29th. Thanks.